It was a cloudy day on campus. A cool spell had descended, shooing people indoors. We're not dressed for weather like this. Welcome to February in Vegas. I quickly read over the text my older brother, Cisco, sent me. Guess what, needy Nico? I have a date for Valentines. Well, you can't get any. Loser. I need you to give me $50 because me and my girl are going to Club Starburst this weekend. Needy Nico. That's Cisco's name for me. I hate it. Ironically, I'm the one with the job. My brother owes me nearly $1,000. I don't know why I keep giving him more money. I work in the Student Services Building cafeteria. Chef for the Italian counter. I can bake a cheap lasagna in 45 minutes. Spaghetti a la whatever in 15. And we sell out of garlic bread and garlic French fries as soon as I put them out. You should try our Italian fries. French fries covered in marinara and Parmesan cheese. Our most popular item is triple cheese cheesy noodles. As jobs go, it's not bad. I'm Nico Papadakis, a junior working on an art degree, specializing in computer graphics. Someday, I want to create special effects for the movies. I'm currently creating the special effects for a student production about vampires. Work is usually in the mornings, which leaves me free for classes and homework the rest of the day. I commute from home. It's only a 35-minute bus ride, which saves me a ton in gas and parking. Life should be good. It could be good. It might be good. Except, for some reason, nobody wants to date a lunch line worker. I don't think I'm bad to look at. I mean, I look Greek, because I am Greek. You know, long curly black hair. I have the classic Mediterranean olive skin that tans very easy, and green eyes, though they are usually hidden by my glasses. I have nice things to wear, though they are usually store discards sent to the thrift store the year after they were in style. So what's wrong with me? I look reasonably nice. I have a job. I'm studying hard. Movies and special effects fascinate me. Someday, I'll be the one making them. Nico, can I have some lasagna and French fries with a side of marinara? A cute college guy asked. Adam is one of our regulars, also a junior, but he's a business major. He always came to the Italian counter. Sometimes we chatted about school, but when things got busy, we only nodded at each other. His friend Dan stood nearby. Dan always seemed to look down on me, like he thinks he's better than me. Sure thing, Adam, I said, and served up an order of lasagna and French fries with the extra marinara. Adam has been coming around the Italian counter almost every day for the whole semester. I guess he liked cheap Italian food. Today, Monday, he wore a gray t-shirt with a scarlet stripe across the chest that had a small logo that said UNLV Swim Team. He's not big like a linebacker or tall like a basketball player, but he does have nicely muscled, hairy legs and pecs that push out the fabric of his shirt, and his nipples make little sexy bumps I try not to stare at. Nice biceps, too. He wore gray, no-show socks, so his athletic legs were bared down to his worn white Reeboks, and today he wore black shorts that ended a little above the knee. He had a slim waist, tight body, and very little fat. He's sexy as hell. Adam's on the swim team, which means he works out daily. After all, February is part of the swim season. Just like every day, I flirt a little, and today I ask, Saturday is Valentine's Day. What do you say two lonely guys like us catch a movie? That new spy movie opens this weekend. My treat. True to form, he responded with, No can do. My loss, I say, and he moved on. Tuesday is pretty similar, except I overhear Dan saying, You can do better than a lunch line worker. Let's go somewhere else. Shut up, Adam said. He stopped by the counter anyway and said, "Nico, dish me up some spaghetti carbonara and a slice of garlic bread, please." I served up his order and asked, "Since Saturday is out, and it will be Valentine's all weekend, what do you think about pizza Friday night? We can stop at the pizzeria just below campus, and they have a Celtic band performing that is supposed to be pretty good." "No, thank you," he replied with a smile, and took his food. Wednesday was just like the rest. While Dan stood off, scowling, Adam graced the Italian counter, waited for me to finish with a customer, and he asked, "Nico, give me a double lasagna, please, and some garlic bread." While I cut 2 generous portions of lasagna, I asked, "Have you found a date for Valentine's? If not, how about Saturday night, my place? You, me, and a couple of New York strip steaks grilled with extra butter and a side of garlic asparagus. My parents have a grill, and even though it's supposed to be cool outside, we can still barbecue. Besides, they won't be around, and we can binge-watch Star Trek Discovery." Dan sighed, and I think under his breath he muttered, "Geek." "Chilling in front of the flat screen with a man that cooks? Sounds heavenly, but I can't," Adam said. "Think about how much fun we could have. If Star Trek isn't your thing, we could binge-watch old episodes of Game of Thrones," I said. Dan mumbled something like, "What a dork. Adam, let's go get a Subway." "Shut up, Dan," Adam said. "Nico, I bet it would be fun, but I have to pass." "Let's sweeten the deal," I said. "Do you like key lime pie? My grandma passed down her old recipe, and it's really good. You don't know what you're missing, and I promise to be a nice guy." Dan rolled his eyes. "Sorry, I have a swim meet this weekend," Adam said, giving me a sad grin. "Starts Friday, lasts most of Saturday, and then we have a team party Saturday night. Sunday, I am going to be exhausted. Plus I have to put together a paper about the Temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus. You know, ancient Roman history stuff. And my professor does not allow internet use. Only books and magazines can be used. She already gave me an extension because of all my practices, but I have to get the rough draft done this weekend and turned in Tuesday morning." "Talk about bad timing," I said. I handed him his plate of lasagna and garlic bread. "Talk about good timing," Dan muttered. "Can we get out of here?" I ignored Dan and said, "That is a lousy way to spend Valentine's. What does your boyfriend or girlfriend say?" "Make that recently single," Adam said. "Didn't like Teresa anyway," Dan chimed in. "She's a high-maintenance witch." "Quiet, Dan," Adam said. Then he turned to me and replied, "Nico, are you subtly asking if you have a chance?" "Geez, don't encourage the lunch line worker," Dan said. If Dan rolled his eyes again, they'd fall out of his head. "Since you're on the swim team," I said, shrugging a little bit, "and you have the cutest eyes, can you blame a guy for trying?" "Guess not," Adam said, taking the plate. "See you tomorrow." What did I know about this guy? I liked him. He had dirty blonde hair trimmed short, expressive brown eyes, and he had great, sexy legs. Did I mention the nice smile? Too bad I could never get a date with him or with anyone. I guess that's why my brother always called me Needy Nico. Wait a second. Maybe this was my chance. I quickly ran after Adam. Dan saw me and sneered, "Lunch line worker, 6 o'clock. Once again, I ignored him and blurted out, "I have both Saturday and Sunday off. What if we met in the library Sunday afternoon, and I helped you with your paper? I can research Roman temples as well as anybody." Adam simply smiled and said, "I'll think about it." He must think I sound desperate. That's me, Needy Nico. Maybe I am desperate, because I don't want to get turned down again, especially on Valentine's. Everybody has a date, except me, Needy Nico, My brother will never let me live this down. Dan took Adam aside and they quietly whispered. Then Dan said, "Don't go out with a lunch line worker. I bet he only makes minimum wage. You're better than that. Should have stuck with Teresa. At least she was rich." "Dan, your snobby side is showing," Adam said. "Besides, this weekend is really busy." I didn't catch Dan's whispered response. "Dan, you are a jerk, so shut up," Adam replied. Dan rolled his eyes, yet again, and said, "You know I'm right." Adam turned to me, and I guess he assumed I heard whatever it is Dan said, because he said, "Just ignore Dan. Right now, my social life sucks, but having a date for Valentines would be nice. It won't be much of a date, but Nico, would you like to come to the swim meet? My races are Saturday afternoon between 2 and 4. We're hosting the University of Utah. It's not a big meet, but it could improve our rankings. You don't have to stay for the whole day." "I've never been to a swim meet before," I said. "Sure." I gave him my number. He gave me the biggest smile. As I returned to the Italian counter, I mentally kicked myself. Had I really been so desperate as to run after the guy? Not my best moment. But take that, Big Brother Cisco. I had a date on Valentines. Still, my brother will still call me Needy Nico. After work, and after my afternoon class, I rode the bus home. I do have a car, a 6-year-old white Chevrolet Malibu that once belonged to my parents, but I don't drive it to college. It's easier to take the bus. Have you seen how weird parking is around here? Home is a mostly normal 2-story, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, unfinished basement, suburban house, about 10 minutes from the bus stop. I am the younger child of 2 boys. My older brother, Cisco, is 26 and has commandeered the basement. He showed no signs of moving out or getting a job, but he does have a girlfriend who helps foot his bills. I share a room with Mom's desk. She works remote. Me, I'm 21, and when I have some time to spare, I look for an apartment, but until I find a roomie to split the cost with, I can't afford it. Mom helped with the search because she has connections, but unfortunately, everything she has found is too expensive. Mom worked as a remote realtor for Capital Properties. She's part of a team and does all their computer work, the virtual showings, and the paperwork, while her partners handle the physical staging and showing of the houses and properties, and schmoozing with the clients. Mom hates schmoozing. Mom makes great money, but it's a very full-time job. But she makes sure to close down by 6 so that the rest of the night the room is my bedroom. Dad is an accountant and works in an office just off downtown Vegas. Except during tax season, he's a standard 9-to-5 guy. He also makes great money. They're both so busy with their jobs that nothing gets done around the house. The place is always a mess, and Mom and Dad don't seem to care. Which means the chores and cooking are up to me and my older brother, Cisco. Usually me, since Cisco doesn't do anything but hang out in his man cave and mooch money off the rest of us. If something has to be cooked, it's up to me. If I want a clean toilet, it's up to me. Clean dishes? I'm the one who throws them in the dishwasher every night. I draw the line at laundry. They do their own. Oh, God, what would happen to the bathroom when I move out? The monster that ate an urban family. The only company-ready place in the house is my bedroom. I guess that's why Mom uses it as her office. I quickly cleaned up today's dishes and put a lasagna together. While it baked, I pulled out my textbook and started the readings. 40 pages in one book, plus 3 web articles. Halfway done, my phone trilled with an incoming text from Adam. He sent me the information about the swim meet this weekend. Though he only had 1 race on Friday, Saturday he had 4. He specialized in the butterfly and the front crawl, and sometimes did the freestyle. We text flirted until it was time to pull the lasagna out. While it cooled, I made garlic toast and then yelled, "Dinner's ready." One by one, my family came out of the rooms, got a plate, and made room at the cluttered table, and played on their phones while shoveling food into their mouths. We weren't a family anymore, just internet zombies. Mom came out of her room last, a printout in her hand. She handed it to me. Trixie came through, though I don't know how she did it this late in the season. 3 places, 2 near campus. Rent is a little higher than we expected, except for this 1 bedroom in an older apartment complex. It's a 20-minute bus ride from campus, on the ground floor, and is next door to the fire department, so it might get a little noisy, which could explain the cheaper price. "Thanks, Mom," I said. "I'll check these out this weekend. But with the price on the 1 bedroom, I can afford to move now. Would there be time to sign a lease and move before the end of the month?" "Hope so. I know you've wanted your own place for a while," Dad said. "And to help you get started, your mom and I will pay for the down payment and cleaning deposit. The other bills are yours, though." "Oh, wow, thanks," I said. I looked at the paper, mentally did some math, and liked the numbers. I was about to pull my phone out to check addresses when Dad cleared his throat and said, "Now's as good a time to talk about serious stuff as any. Your mom and I have come to a decision." "And it will affect both of you," Mom said. I left my phone in my pocket and placed a big slice of the lasagna on a plate, leaned against the counter, and took a bite. Cisco didn't look up from his phone. Dad continued speaking. "Your mom and I have decided that we need to prepare for the future. I'll be retiring in 5 years. This place is too big, and we don't want to take care of a yard. It's not working for us anymore. With Nico moving out soon, we're thinking of moving to a smaller space with no yard." "You'll never do it," Cisco sneered, still not looking up from his phone. "Cisco, don't be rude," I said. "The point is," Mom said, "I felt we needed a third party to handle selling the house, so I asked my friend Trixie to spearfront it." "You're seriously selling the house?" Cisco said. "You can't do that. Are you making me move out? That's not fair. Where am I supposed to live? I have too much stuff to live in a little apartment like needy Nico, so I'm not moving." "Cisco," I muttered, "don't call me needy Nico." Dad folded his arms, a little exasperated, and said, "Cisco, we are selling the house. That's not up for negotiation. Your mother has already found a 2-bedroom condo that is closer to my work, but it's farther from Nico's college. But he is about to get his own place, so that won't matter." "Nico," Cisco said, "let me live with you." "The only apartment I can afford is a 1-bedroom, I said. "Then," Cisco said, "I'll live in Mom and Dad's 2nd bedroom." "No, honey," Mom said. "You're 26. You can't depend on us anymore, which means you'll need to find a job and rent your own place. However, we'll make the same deal for you that we are making for Nico. We'll pay the down payment and cleaning deposit. I can also make some inquiries about an apartment. Just tell me the area you want to live in." "This sucks," my older brother said. "How dare you kick me out?" "Technically," Dad said, "we're kicking all of us out." "Whatever," Cisco said, and swore. He slammed the rest of the lasagna into his mouth and headed back to his basement. "Don't make me wash your dishes again," I yelled after him, but Cisco didn't respond. Typical. Still, I was excited. I've been wanting my own place since I graduated high school, and since I get reduced tuition because I work at the university, and with Dad's number-crunching brain, I have some money saved, and with Mom's connections, I can make this work. With Mom and Dad helping me with the down payment, this just became easier. "About selling the house," I said to my parents. "Anything I can do?" Mom glanced at Dad before she said, "Don't take offense, but your dad and I need some alone time to figure out how we'll handle retirement." "For now, get yourself squared away," Dad said, "but we're going to need a lot of help sorting and packing down the road." Once I'd finished my readings, on a whim, I texted Adam, "Have a lead on an apartment going there on Sunday. Want to come?" His return text was a simple, lunch, library, apartment hunting. Is this relationship moving fast? LOL. I asked him the all-important question, do you have problems dating a gay man? The next 30 seconds were the longest of my entire life, and I stared at my phone, waiting for his answer, and waiting, and waiting, and waiting. And then it finally came. Adam's text read, don't mind dating anybody. If Grandma's key lime pie is as good as you say, you can do anything you want to me. Winky face emoji, flame emoji, smiley face emoji. As I spent an hour cleaning up the dishes and the kitchen and packed my lunch, Adam and I texted each other. Well, seriously flirted would be more like it. Am I being too pushy? Maybe I should slow down, but I don't want to. I guess Adam didn't think I was too pushy, because he came to the Italian counter on Thursday and seriously carb-loaded on pasta Friday, the first day of the swim meet. On the way home, I bought the ingredients for Grandma's key lime pie that afternoon. Saturday morning, as I was making the pie, Mom brought me some boxes. After the pie was chilling in the fridge, I went to my room and began sorting. I didn't think I had a lot of stuff, but sorting through my things made me think otherwise. How much crap should I bring with me, and what should I toss? I can't believe Mom and Dad are making me move out, Cisco said, barging into my room and falling on my bed. It's not fair. Uh-huh, I said, looking through clothes that I hadn't worn for years. Did I really think these kinds of things were cool back in middle school? Why had I kept them? My donate bags were about to get huge. You don't seem to care, my brother said. Mom and Dad are getting older, I said. Things are changing. I don't want to move, my brother said. Correction, I said. You don't want your cushy life mooching off Mom and Dad to end. I tossed some more old shirts to the ground. Why hadn't I gone through my clothes before? I bet none of these would fit me. So I took the hangers out of the shirts and stuffed the ancient clothes into a big black garbage sack. I'd donate these sometime before I moved. Are you listening to me? Cisco said. I said I'm not moving, and if the two of us present a united front, our folks won't sell the house. Except, I said, I'm going apartment hunting with Adam tomorrow afternoon. Who's Adam? Cisco asked. I have a date with him this afternoon, I said. He's on the swim team, and we met in the cafeteria. My geeky little brother has a date? My older brother yelled. Why would anybody want to date you? You're a boring lunch line server. Mom peeked into the door and smiled. Unlike you, Cisco, Nico can cook, can clean, has a job, owns his own car, and is independent. He's about to get his own place, too. He's cute, and I bet the boys will be lining up to date a man like him. Mom, Cisco whined, that's not true. There is nothing sexier than an independent, self-sufficient man, Mom said, half chuckling. Now, since Nico is leaving for the day, Cisco, I would like you to demonstrate your own independence and clean up the kitchen, maybe even vacuum your room. Mom, I have a date tonight, Cisco whined like a 12-year-old. Before I left for the swim meet, Cisco cornered me by my car. You never gave me that $50. I need it for tonight. I glared at him and said, I need it more. Don't be selfish, Cisco said. Give it to me. I promise to pay you back. You've told me that before, I said. I climbed into my car and drove away. About 1:30, I showed up at the campus pool, a giant indoor pool. One end had diving platforms, while the rest was divided into swim lanes. Red and gray banners decorated the massive space, and bleachers surrounded part of the pool. The air smelled of chlorine and cleaning chemicals. The men all wore gray jammers with a scarlet stripe on their left hip. Jammers are men's skin-tight swimsuits that stretched from waist almost to the knees and added to the sleekness of the swimmer's swim profile. Some guys wore t-shirts, some wore tanks, some were shirtless. The University of Utah men wore bright red jammers with a white U stitched on the left leg. The women's UNLV team wore one-piece gray suits with a vertical scarlet stripe down the left side, while the women's U of U swimmers wore bright red suits. I took a seat on one of the bleachers, looking around for Adam. My backpack took the seat next to me. Found him. I slowly inhaled and even more slowly exhaled. I know what I want in my Christmas stocking this year. The man definitely had a swimmer's cut, trimmed body, long, lean arms, a streamlined waist, nicely rounded pecs, strong, muscular legs, and when Adam walked, his sexy six-pack demanded my attention. Cute didn't do this man justice. Mouth-watering and delicious would be better choices. Adam had one damn fine body. A knot of intense desire grew in my gut. Good thing I wore my t-shirt long. What I found sexy and irresistible was that, except for Adam's head, he had shaved his body sleek and smooth. Chest, armpits, abs, even his legs. Lordy Lord, would Adam let me run my hands over his skin to make sure everything was smooth? I chuckled. Had he shaved everywhere? He carried a gray swim cap that matched his jammers and had swim goggles around his neck. Were his dark eyes staring at me? Did he smile? Adam whispered something to Dan, also on the swim team. Dan kept a stoic face. Adam most definitely smiled at me. Oh God, my heart melted into a puddle. What do? I think Adam was coming over to me. But the coach called him back. Adam said something to Dan, and Dan reluctantly walked towards me instead. He wasn't smiling. Like Adam, Dan was shirtless and only wore skin-tight jammers, but he had a white towel slung over one shoulder. He was every bit as cut and defined as Adam. Adam's glad you could make it, Dan said. Coach wanted to see Adam, so he'll join you in a moment. I've never been to a swim meet before, I replied. Dan took a hold of my backpack, carrying it for me. At least he was trying to be polite when he said, Swim meets can be a lot of fun. We have a reserved spot for family and friends. You'll get a better view of the swimmers. I followed Dan to a set of bleachers not far from the swimmers, while he told me a bit about the team, about the pool complex, a little bit about how the season was going. To keep myself from being distracted by so many hot swimmers' bodies, I repeated in my head the recipe for Grandma's key lime pie. She had always made it with a graham cracker crust and margarine. But I liked a ground almond crust with cinnamon and sugar and browned butter. Adam walked over to me, smiling, his hair damp and spiky from a previous race. The man was even more cut and sexy up close, and his skin-tight jammers hid nothing. I took a deep, deep breath, quickly, mentally recited the recipe again, and said, How did you do on your last race? I bet it takes a lot of work to do all of this. I took second overall, but it was my best time, he said. We sat next to each other, and for 5 minutes, we talked. I forced myself to look at his face, not at his incredible pecs, or his sexy abs, or the very, very, very tight jammers. Had he noticed my inner pervert peeking a glance? One of the ladies in a gray and scarlet suit kept eyeing me and Adam. It wasn't a friendly look. I ignored her. The races went quick. Then everything finished just before 5. Adam and all the swimmers disappeared into the locker room to shower and change. Once Adam came out, I'd ask him if he wanted to get something to eat before he left for his party. Dan came out before Adam and took a seat next to me. Awkwardly, he said, "Adam told me that if I was rude to you again, he'd shove my face into one of your lasagnas." "Okay," I said. Where was this conversation going? "Adam reminded me," Dan said, "that my dad is paying for my entire college and my folks let me live rent-free at home. I guess I thought I was better than you because I didn't have to work. Adam said I acted spoiled, and when it came time to move out, I couldn't even get my electricity hooked up. I guess that makes me kind of pathetic." "It's not that hard to set up electricity," I said. Dan and I chatted for a few minutes before he said, "I haven't figured out why, but Adam really likes you." "Why?" I stupidly asked. Dan shrugged his shoulders and said, "You know what you're going to do with your life, and nobody orders you around. Me, my dad's paying for everything and thinks he can call all the shots." I leaned forward, thinking a moment, and asked, "If your dad controls the money, does that mean he controls you? Maybe you need to get a job so you can control your own goals." "Reality is harsh," Dan said. We chatted a few minutes more before Dan said, "See you around," and took off. Was that the difference between me and my brother? I had a goal, and he just floated through life mooching money from whoever? Was it the same with Dan and Adam? Was Mom right? Was Adam attracted to me because I was independent? That's stupid. Who ever heard of liking somebody because they took charge of their own life? When Adam emerged from the locker room, hairstyled with product, smiling, and carrying a duffel over his shoulder, he asked me, "Would you like to come to the party tonight? I don't have a +1, and it's Valentines." Something about him seemed a little shy. "Love to," I blurted out. "I'll buy dinner." Adam gave me a wry-half smile and said, "No need. Swim department is footing the bill." Since Dan had driven Adam to the meet, I drove Adam to the party. The coaches had rented out the banquet hall at Lupita's Mexican Grill and Restaurant. My family liked Lupita's because it not only had good food and a dance floor, but also an incredible salsa bar. Tonight was some kind of mid-season morale boost for the men and women's swim teams. About 25 men, 25 women, coaches for both men's and women's teams, interns, plus a lot had dates or significant others. There must be 100 people here. Not to mention the Valentines crowd. This place was packed. A Saturday night fiesta. We started off by finding our seats. Adam and I shared a booth with Dan and his girlfriend. I in the inside seat, Adam in the outer. Then we ordered our food and drinks, got up, and danced. Lupita's is known for both its dance floor and its salsa bar. More than 30 different kinds of salsa. Mango, guacamole, yellow tomato, even traditional red tomato. They had it all. Even one made from red ghost peppers. 400 times hotter than jalapeno, this Indian pepper was the 7th hottest in the world and was used for military-grade pepper spray. It burns eyes, skin, and heaven help you if you get it in your mouth. I've tried the ghost pepper salsa. Once. Never again. The ghost pepper salsa was the only salsa with a warning label. Lupita's didn't have a hardcore dance beat, more of a fun, steady mix, with a couple of slow dances every so often. Adam was a good dancer, probably because of all the training he did. I especially liked it when he held me close, and we slow danced. We went back to our seats to sip our drinks, a cherry lime tequila cocktail for me, and a tequila and Coca-Cola with a slice of lime for Adam. For dinner, we shared a grilled mahi-mahi combo platter with grilled mahi-mahi, cheese enchiladas, fresh-made guacamole, cotija and red pepper corn, red rice and beans, and served with fresh grilled tortillas sour cream, and its own special salsa. Lupita's serves big portions. After we finished dinner, Adam and I went back to the dance floor. We kept it slow and mostly talked. You chose this crappy lunch server, a man, over me, a woman sneered, an icy chill in her voice. Adam held my hand as we turned to the newcomer, except it wasn't a newcomer. It was the girl from the women's swim team that had glared at me earlier, but she had styled herself up a bit with some kind of gold blouse and black slacks. Her black hair loosely flowed down her shoulders, and she held a half-filled cocktail glass with something that looked like a tequila sunrise. Teresa, Adam said, but he didn't smile. I'd like you to meet my date, Nico. Nice to meet you, Teresa, I said. How did you do at the swim meet? She gave me a polite but cold smile, then ignored me and looked at Adam as she said, Adam, we need to talk privately. Adam kept tight control over my hand and said, Teresa, it's been over between us for more than 3 months. There is nothing to talk about. I don't appreciate how you blocked me, she said. And I don't appreciate how you cheated on me, Adam said. Anybody can make a mistake, she said, but that doesn't mean that we can't get over it. I deserve another chance. No second chances, Adam said. I don't want to have to go through another full STD panel. They tested me for everything. Nico, for your information, Doc says I'm clean. STD panel, Teresa scoffed. Isn't that normal, Adam said, when you discover your ex-girlfriend has been sleeping around? Telling the doctor about how you slept with other people was one of the most embarrassing things I had to deal with. Have you been tested? Teresa paled, took a breath, and forced herself to relax. No, I'm careful, she said. Not careful enough for me to trust you, Adam said. I'm not risking sex with you again. It's over. I'm not leaving until we get back together, Teresa said. Baby, we were good for each other. Dumping me means we wasted a whole year on each other. You have to forgive me. Word of advice, Adam said. Get your little germs tested by a doctor. Just because I didn't catch something from you doesn't mean you didn't catch something from your other boyfriends. Goodbye. You make me sound like I'm infected, Teresa yelled. You roll the dice, Adam said. It's the people you sleep with that pay the price. Lose my number because I have already blocked yours. Several of the swim team members must have heard something, and there were suddenly quiet whispers and quiet giggles about the dance floor. Teresa sipped her drink and said, This isn't over, before she left. Wow, what happened between you and her? I asked. Adam sighed and said, Short story time. We were together for a year when I learned she'd been living a free and loose life. I got lucky I didn't catch anything, and to prove it, I can show you the printouts the doctor gave me. I dumped Teresa just after Halloween. I nodded. Adam must have had a little too much tequila and Coca-Cola because he leaned in and whispered, You don't need to worry. You're sexier than she is. Was he talking about curly-haired, green-eyed, four-eyed me? Adam blushed. A tender look crossed his eyes, and he said, In case I forgot to say it, I really like you. That's why I came by every day. You've had too much to drink, I said. He took my hand, and we moved to a different part of the dance floor, and a few minutes later we went back to our seats. That night, for Valentines, we shared a slice of chocolate ganache rose cake, with the roses created in various shades of pink. Dan and his girlfriend had disappeared to the dance floor, leaving Adam and I alone. Maybe I'd had too much to drink too. Maybe Adam was tired from all day swimming. Maybe being so close to this sexy man lowered my guard. Our conversation paused. Our lips eased close to each other, so close that I felt his breath. His eyes were very near, and something glimmered in them. I almost missed it when he said, "We hardly know each other." Gently, he removed my glasses, and then he whispered, "I've never noticed your eyes were green. They're nice." The knot of desire in my gut took over. I loved being with this man. Did he lean in first? Was it me? Our lips tenderly pressed together for a second. Then we backed off an inch or two. He licked his lips. My lips parted. I breathed in heavily. He seemed to shiver, and our lips met again. Our kiss started out shy, small, tender. Then our lips pressed hard together. His breath became ragged, and he held the back of my neck, drawing me closer. I surrendered to him, feeling his need through his kiss, feeling our need through our kiss, feeling something erotic bloom deep inside me. My heart was beating way too fast. Our lips opened, and our kiss grew into a fire that wouldn't be quenched. We separated, and as we caught our breath, I cut a small piece of the cake and fed it to Adam. A little frosting got on his lips, and he licked it off, biting his lip to keep from smiling. Adam took his fork, cut a second piece, and fed a small piece of cake to me. As I ate it, Adam set the fork down, took my cheeks in his hands, and kissed me. The soft flavor of the chocolate, the taste of the tequila, the heat of the moment. Our mouths locked together, hungry for each other, and our tongues briefly touched, teased each other. Our kiss merged together, becoming a thing of wonder, of lust, of passion, of maybe love. We rested our foreheads together, relaxing into each other, breathing deeply, living attuned to each other. His breath was warm and rhythmic, his lips impossibly close and warm and desirable and kissable. Had I ever wanted someone as much as I wanted Adam right now? Well, our mouth simply smiled, my left hand and Adam's right hand intertwined, fingers playing with each other, gently massaging each other. The moment was ours, and ours alone. It took another moment to remember that we were still in the restaurant, yet another to realize that Teresa was staring at Adam and me making out, and another to realize that other people were deliberately not looking at us making out. I don't know whether it was me or Adam that grinned first, but neither of us could stop. "Do you, want to come over to my place?" I said. "I still live with my family, but, they're gone tonight. I made Grandma's key lime pie." Adam gave me a humorless chuckle and said, "You don't know how much I want a place of my own. I can't afford to because training and school takes up a ton of time, so I can only work part-time until after swim season." "How do you pay for school?" I asked. Adam lifted my hand and slowly kissed it. He whispered, "I get by with student loans and working a lot of overtime during summer semester." "Is it worth it?" I asked. Adam gave me a wicked grin and said, "Let's sneak out of here. I can't wait to try the pie." We cuddled and lightly kissed. Our eyes were only on each other. As we embraced, a woman's voice screamed, "Nobody dumps me," and suddenly Teresa was at our table, holding 2 bowls of ghost pepper salsa. Was she about to dump them on us? Was the salsa so hot that the bowls were melting? She stood there, smirking, gloating, and then she tossed them at us. It happened fast. Adam somehow shifted me down and leaned over me, protecting me, so the salsa hit his back. The second bowl ruined our cake. Teresa laughed. A little bit of the salsa got into my mouth. God, it was a blast furnace. My mouth burned. Dan was suddenly there and quickly knocked Teresa to the side. One of her friends grabbed her and led her away. Oh my God, my mouth was on fire. It burned. A coach started screaming at Teresa, and I guess she was suspended from the team pending an ethics review. A man came out and yelled, the restaurant manager, I assumed, and he had called the police. Adam, I take back what I said earlier, Dan said. At least the lunch line worker has better manners than Teresa. You two okay? Best battery acid I've ever tasted, Adam croaked and coughed. Adam must have swallowed some too because we were both coughing and crying and our faces were red. A waiter rushed us a mint and milk beverage that dulled the burn, but Adam's shirt was a dripping mess. I have extra clothes back home, I said, gulping the soothing drink. I'll take you up on that, Adam said, and removed the salsa-dripping shirt right in the middle of the restaurant. I'm not kidding, but where the salsa dripped on the hardwood floor, the floor started to smoke. No lie. We quickly left, holding hands, Adam's shirt in a plastic bag the waiter had found for us. I drove us back to my place. We'd talked about the new apartments, about the swim team, about the night, simply enjoying the drive. Adam's hand rested on my leg, his thumb slowly rubbing my knee. I didn't mind. The lights were off when we arrived back home. We threw our salsa-stained shirts into the washer. Standing by the washing machine, I unfastened Adam's belt, pulled it through the loops, and guiltily dropped it to the floor. We both kicked our shoes off and tossed our socks into the washer. Adam smiled as I unzipped his pants. Just in case, I whispered. Adam tossed his pants into the washer, and I tossed mine. After starting the washer, we took the key lime pie up to my room, and Adam said, "Remember what I said. If that pie is as good as you say it is, you can do anything you want." I opened my nightstand, pulled out the condoms, the tube of lube, and asked, "Strawberry, bubblegum, grape, vanilla, banana, mint, or no flavor?" Adam laughed and chose the strawberry condom package and said, "I suspect we now have plans for the next few weekends." That night, I learned the answer to my earlier question. Yes, Adam had shaved everywhere. It was about 8 the next morning when I quietly slipped out of bed, careful not to disturb Adam. He was sleeping on his stomach, face nearly buried in the pillow. I pulled the comforter atop his shoulders, then pulled my boxer briefs on before I snuck to the bathroom. His still lay on the floor. This house is an older house, only one bathroom upstairs, and it is a communal bathroom. My parents' room was across from mine, but their door was open. They must be downstairs. As I returned to my room, I heard something weird coming from my room. I peeked in, expecting to see Adam sitting up. I was wrong. My brother, Cisco, sat on the foot of the bed talking to the still sleeping Adam. In the morning shadows, I guess he thought it was me. The rest of the condom packages, plus the opened strawberry condom package, and the tube of lube were plainly visible on the nightstand. Oops. I listened in. "Look," my brother said, "Needy Nico, you have to tell Mom and Dad not to sell this place. I don't want to move, and I bet you don't want to move either. They are making me get a job and my own apartment. That's not fair." "What's not fair is you barging into my room," I said, walking in. I slipped under the comforter next to Adam. He'd only pretended to be asleep, and since he was awake, I kissed him on the shoulder. "Cisco, close the door so we can have some privacy, and stop calling me Needy Nico," I said. "What the hell?" Cisco said. "Who is that in your bed? I thought it was you. You brought a man into the house? You had sex last night?" "So?" I said. "I'll make this simple," Cisco said, smiling like a mobster. "Since you didn't give me any money yesterday and my girlfriend had to pay, you'll give me $500 right now or I will yell for Mom and Dad to get up here. Once they see what you've done, they'll be furious with you. I bet they'll be so mad they won't help you with the down payment, and then you won't be able to move. What do you think about that?" "Oh, brother," I said. "I'm sorry about this," Adam said. "It's okay," I said. "Cisco, do whatever you want. I'm not giving you any more money." "You know what," Cisco said. "If I get you in trouble and they don't give you the money, you can't afford to move. That means they can't sell this place. I win." "You're an idiot," I said, and kissed Adam. "Mom, Dad," Cisco yelled, "get up here quick. You won't believe what needy Nico's done. They have condoms everywhere and lube. They had sex last night. It's disgusting." The moment had become almost embarrassing. Sighing, I looked at Adam and shrugged. Adam looked at me and whispered, "Should I go?" "Let's go look at that apartment before we go to the library," I whispered. Cisco had an odd triumphant smile as he said, "Mom and Dad are going to scream at you, and you won't be able to move. I win." Ignoring my brother, I leaned over and kissed Adam. "Do you want to go out to dinner after the library?" "As soon as the paper is done," Adam said. "Do you want to choose an after-dinner flavor?" I asked, nodding towards the condoms. Adam smiled. The distant coffee maker began to gurgle, and the smell of fresh brewed coffee filled the air. There came the clink of somebody setting out coffee mugs. "I suspect this is a job for a dad, dear," Mom said from the direction of the kitchen. A second later, Dad appeared in the doorway. He looked at Adam and me, then at Cisco gloating. He picked up one of the condom packages, a grape-flavored one, then looked at the lube. Dad took a deep breath and said, "Nico, you couldn't have waited for your own place." "Blame it on Valentines, Dad," I said. "At least you're taking precautions. They decent quality?" Dad said, tucking the condom into his pocket. "Seem to be," I said. "Hurry up and get dressed, boys," Dad said. "Adam, how do you like your coffee?" "1 sugar and some vanilla creamer," Adam said. "Before I forget," Dad said, "Nico, do you have something Adam could wear for breakfast? We're cooking up some ham and eggs, fried potatoes, tortillas, and salsa. They should be ready in 5. Before I could respond, Cisco yelled, "Aren't you going to scream at him, get mad, tell Nico that you won't give him down payment money?" "What's the point?" Dad said. "So what if he brought a boyfriend home? Nico has a job, a car, goes to school, and has much of his stuff packed for his new place. I don't see a problem, except for getting a truck. And also that Nico and Adam were a little noisy last night." "Sorry," I said. "We didn't hear you come in." "Oops," Adam said. "If it helps, my dad has a truck." "If I'm going to get mad at anybody," Dad said, "it's at you, Cisco. No job, haven't even started packing or sorting. You haven't even told your mom what area she should look in for an apartment. With all the crap you have downstairs, how do you expect us to get a decent price on the house?" "Nico, Adam, we're in the dining room," Mom yelled. "Come on down to breakfast because Trixie emailed me a couple of new apartment addresses." "Mom, I'm thinking I can afford the 1 bedroom, I said. "How did you know Adam was here?" "We were at Lupita's too," Dad said, "and we saw the whole show. Salsa, kiss, and all the drama. Between a little drinking and a lot of hormones, it didn't take much to put 2 and 2 together." "Nico, you must take after your dad," Mom said, giggling. "We used to kiss everywhere." "Yep," Dad said. "Remember the bus stop?" "They don't need to know about that, honey," Mom said, and quickly changed the subject. "I found Adam's clothes in the washer. Don't worry, I'm running them through the dryer right now. You and Adam moving in together?" "You're okay with them sleeping together?" Cisco screamed. "You're not going to cancel Nico's down payment? That's not fair. I don't want to move." Mom suddenly appeared in the doorway, grabbed Cisco's arm, and pulled him out of our room. Cisco, like I keep telling you, there is nothing sexier than an independent man. Mom, Cisco whined. As she closed the door behind them, she yelled, Hurry down, boys, so the food don't get cold. And I want to tell you about Trixie's timeline for getting the house presentable. Once we were alone again, Adam rolled over, faced me, and asked, I guess I should pop the all-important question. Should I ask to be your roommate now, or should we date a couple more times? Why not both? I whispered. Epilogue. I moved into the apartment first, and over the next month, Adam moved in as well. We loved that place, and over the 3 years we lived there, we learned to appreciate and love each other. On our 3rd anniversary together, we invited our families and closest friends to Lupita's for an extra special party. We had 2 best men, Dan and Cisco, and our wedding became a fiesta that lasted all night. Our new place had 2 bedrooms, one for our offices because we often work remote, and the other for us. No 2 people could ever be as happy as the swimmer who married the lunch line server. The end. I'm Gio, and thank you for joining me for this week's tale of romance between men. Join me next Wednesday and every Wednesday for a new story about love between men. If you're interested in more stories about love, please visit my channel. Thank you, friends, and I wish you love and happiness and peace. See you next week.